Good morning, beauties. Good morning, good morning. Rebecca Thompson here. What I have to share with you this morning could well be the most important thing you hear all year, if not your whole lifetime. I'm serious, because the energies and sounds and notes of what is going on in the world right now is really strong and really loud. And if you don't start being more deliberate in where you put your attention, then you always start always calibrating to the strongest noise in the room. And in the room, I mean, maybe in your household, maybe in your workplace, just maybe in life. Yeah, if you don't start being a deliberate and intentional focuser of your energy and your thoughts and your feelings, then you will be at the whim of the energy all around you. Right? You know this, yes? When you are in perhaps a really busy supermarket or shopping center or an intense environment, you go away feeling intense. We get entrained to our environment. When you go to perhaps your meditation studio, your yoga studio, you're with someone who's really calm and present, you feel calm and present. You get entrained to your environment if you are not careful, if you are not a deliberate creator and focuser of your own energy and the attention on that. So you can't control everything, big picture, but you can control how you feel. And I want to share with you 3 key things to focus that, because it is actually quite simple to create the life that you want, and to feel better in that life. But what happens is we allow the conditions around us to entrain us into that. And as human beings, we get reliant on the conditions around us for our happiness and our safety. You cannot be reliant on your environment or the conditions around you for your happiness, because we get caught in this trap of seeing what's happening. Maybe that, there's something you don't want happening in the world, that there's fear happening, or maybe you're just not earning the money that you want. Maybe you're not in the job that you want. Maybe you don't have the relationship you want. Maybe it's just as simple as, having a flat tire, or something is happening in your world, and you allow that to have an effect on how you feel, rather than claiming the sovereignty and the control over how you feel, irrespective of your environment. Yeah? You have the choice to choose how you feel. And if you are only looking at things from I don't have this, or this is happening right now, and seeing the negatives or seeing the lack, then you are constantly sort of narrating on your situation, but only seeing that, and therefore only creating that, because we create more of what we feel, just like others entrain you into how they are feeling. If you are unguarded around that, you create more of how you feel. And if you don't fully believe that yet, if you don't believe that you're a manifestor of your own reality, if you don't believe the law of attraction, then just have a think for a moment. I can remember one thing that's popping up in my mind right now was when I was pregnant, right? And then everywhere I looked, women were pregnant or had little babies. You know that feeling? Or you just buy a new car, or you're looking for a little new car, and everywhere you see that car, right? So wherever you put your attention, you create more of that. And this is the same. This is the same. When you shift your energy, or wherever your energy and vibration and thoughts are, things will attract to you that are the same, that will keep fulfilling that thought, that belief, that feeling. So you have to be careful what you think or feel, and be very deliberate about your focus of your feeling, because otherwise, like I said, you will get entrained to the masses, to the loudest noise. So let's get on to these 3 things, yeah? And if you're watching, hey Sonia and anyone else jumping on here now, let me know what you feel about this, right? This is powerful stuff. These 3 things I'm about to share with you will be the turning point for how you show up in the world. Yeah, it is no accident. You are not blessed. I am not blessed. I'm not lucky. I am not been, gifted with a silver spoon in my mouth. I have created my reality through these 3 things. I've created the abundance, the freedom, the joy, the peace, the relationship, the adventures in my life through primarily these 3 things I'm about to share with you now. So get a pen and paper if you haven't already. You can just pause this if you're watching this on the replay to jot these down, because we all need a reminder. Because when life gets a bit sticky sometimes, we can get caught up in seeing that stickiness and narrating on that stickiness and creating more discomfort around it, rather than these 3 things that I'm going to share with you. We need a reminder, because sometimes the momentum of that discomfort or that struggle builds and people around it comment on it and it starts to feed it. Yeah, we need reminding. So grab that pen and paper and jot these things down. All right, welcome back. If you've just paused that and come back. So the first thing is willingness to accept what is in the moment. Now that might sound like a contradiction. You say, well, you just told me not to put attention on what is. Well, we can't just ignore it. We need a willingness to be with what is, but we don't have to keep narrating on it, and we don't have to get into the negatives of it, and we don't have to allow those conditions to bring us down, but we need to acknowledge it and have a willingness around it, because there is no greater insanity or waste of your energy than to try and resist what is. And this is what can also happen in spiritual circles, is that you see something, you want to spin it to the positive, but you're resisting actually what is. The first step is a willingness to accept what is. Because this might be a job that you can't actually get out of right now because you need to pay your rent. So there needs to be a willingness. And in that willingness and acceptance, there's a shift. It might be, instead of, I don't like this job and I want to give it up and I but I have to pay my rent. For the difference in the energy from that to, I accept that this is the source of my income right now, and I am so grateful that I get to pay my rent. And I know that there is something else out there for me, but I am willing to engage in this right now in order that I can put a roof over my head and feed myself. Right? And then start looking for other areas within that to feel grateful for. And that's the kind of the next thing. So the first thing is having a willingness to be where you're at, to accept what is, without focusing on the lack of what is in that, right? Or the perceived negatives within that. And the second thing then is to then deliberately change your focus. Like I said, instead of seeing the difficulties in that, shift to what are the positives in that. And if you can't see that, then shift sort of laterally. So if, for example, if money is an issue, then don't look at the lack of money, and maybe you can't just tell yourself that you are abundant in money if you're actually not, because if you don't believe it, you're creating more resistance and you're not in that acceptance and willingness place. But what you can do is shift into that same energy, but laterally. So where else do you feel abundant? Where else do you feel abundant? Abundance isn't just financial. Focus your attention on feeling abundant in other areas of your life. I just have to look out into this beautiful garden. Maybe I can just turn this here. If you can see that. This is where I'm just sitting out in the front. I can put this back here now. To feel abundant. Yeah, I just have to look out into that greenery and go, there is so much abundance in nature. There is so much abundance in beauty. There's so much abundance in my wardrobe of beautiful, colorful clothes, right? Anywhere that you can bring in the energy of abundance. And if it's something around health, maybe there's an aspect of your health that is challenging for you at the moment. The first thing would be to have an acceptance. Well, this is just what's happening right now for me in my body. But instead of pushing into and focusing on the challenges of that, feeling into where is their wellness? Where is their vibrancy? Where do you feel a sense of freedom and expansiveness in your body? And if you can't find that anywhere in your body, where can you feel that elsewhere? So that you can focus on the energy of that elsewhere, so that you don't keep feeding what is and you create what you want. Yeah, so that's the second thing, is this: be deliberate about where your focus is, but you have to have it believable in your body. So if you can't just spin that particular situation, move laterally. Yeah, to still bring in the energy of that. The sun started to shift around. I'm going to move a little bit. So I'm not looking into the sun, right? You have a choice to change. I have a choice to change my environment. Here we go. It was such a beautiful warm sun. I'm just going to shift a little around so it's not right in my eyes. So that is the second thing. Be deliberate. And gratitude is a fantastic emotion and feeling and energy to cultivate in any situation, right? Now, even if you have some really strong physical sensations right now that are creating discomfort in your body, you can still bring in some deep gratitude that you are having this human experience and everything that you might be learning from that experience of suffering. You can still tap into some gratitude around that. And if you can't tap into any gratitude around your body or around your financial situation or whatever it is that might be wanting to pull your awareness somewhere else, shift gratitude to something completely different. It's all just energy, right? And you can choose to feel how you want to feel. So that's the second thing, be deliberate. The third thing, if you really want to speed up, and this is where people kind of fall short, they look at mindset, they maybe look at emotion, or they look at physical. You need to look at all of it. So you want consistency and coherence and sort of harmony across the board is going to fast track things for you. So when I work in my Be a Beacon program, we look at things on a physical level, an emotional level, a mental level, a spiritual level, an environment level, right? We look at all of it because that fast tracks things. So have a feel, where are you not sort of coherent? Where is there not harmony? There might be some harmony in some areas of your life and not in others. So you may be doing, the feeling work, but you're completely ignoring your physical body and what you're putting into it. I know that the clearer and cleaner I get, the effects of food in my body is huge. The effects of movement or not moving is huge, but primarily it's food, right? Because food goes in this body, and everything that this body is creating is often coming from food and my energy and my emotion. But when I put food in, I get something out, and I might get lightness and expansiveness and joy out, or I might get heaviness and dullness and lethargy. So look at where you are putting your attention in your well-being and make that coherent across the board. So I know, and sometimes it can take a little bit for you to really kind of suss this for yourself, that eating more lightly, eating fresher, makes me feel better emotionally and mentally. Yes, if you're feeling that sort of resistance and you can't get your head around shifting your attention and focus, then maybe you need to shift your diet in order that you can feel that more expansiveness and feel those possibilities. And there are other things that you can kind of look at in terms of that harmony. So for example, if your body is always moving, if there is always movement in your life, movement, go, you want to bring in some harmony. You want to bring in some opposites of stillness. Now, if you literally can't actually stop, you want to tune into the stillness in your body, in your center, the steadiness. And choose a point in your body to focus on. It's always with you. Find that still point as you move through your doingness. Find the steadiness in your breath. Right? These things help to bring harmony back. Otherwise, we're pushed over to one polarity. If you are in lethargy, if you're in stillness, if you're in like that lower energy states, bring in any kind of movement. Bring in any kind of movement to shift that stagnation. To again, create more flow, create more harmony, create more ability to move. We have the capacity to move our energetic state, our thoughts, our feelings, our abundance, our joy, but everything has to be able to move, right? So if we're stuck in particular patterns, whether they're mental patterns, behavioral patterns, physical patterns, emotional patterns, then we don't have that movement. Movement is everything, right? Flow is everything in terms of our capacity to change and attract what we want if we are experiencing something that we don't really want. All right, so let's just quickly recap on those three things. The first thing is willingness and acceptance without getting caught into the details of that which don't feel good. The second thing is then being deliberate to shift your attention, being deliberate on where you focus your attention, on what feelings and thoughts you cultivate. There is no rule that says if you're experiencing something not great that you have to put all your energy into it and try and fix it and make it better. There's no rule that says you have to do that. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to get stuck in that pain. You don't have to feel that lack. No, you get to choose. You get to choose to feel abundance everywhere. You get to choose to feel where there is lightness and joy and ease in your body. You get to choose that you feel connected no matter what. And the third thing is to ease out these contradictions in your body and in your mind, in your energy and emotion. You want coherence. You want flow. You want full expression across the polarities, not to just be stuck in one pattern or the other. Yeah? Those three things will guide you throughout your whole of your life to make things better. You have a choice of where your attention goes in order to make yourself feel better and to create more of that in your life. When you feel more expansive, when you feel more abundant, when you feel more joyful, when you stop putting your attention on the things that you see and the lack, and allowing yourself to be entrained by your environment of other people who may want to get caught up in that. You have a choice. You don't have to. As you start to be more deliberate about where your energy is and you start to align back to the essence of who you are, which is everything. It is everything that you want and desire. Then you attract that in. You attract more of the same. Law of attraction, like attracts like. All right, my beauties, let me know what you are thinking, or what have you manifested, or where have you noticed your attention going, and how can you shift that? You don't even have to verbalize the negative. We don't even want to put any attention on that. You can acknowledge it, allow it, and shift your attention somewhere else. Tell us where you're shifting your attention to. We want to hear that bit. Yeah, we don't want to feed the energy of what you don't want. All right, my loves? Time to get out of this beautiful warm sunshine. All right, gorgeous souls, take care. And if you want to know more about this, reach out to me, Rebecca Thompson. Take care, lovelies.